Opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to Scarefest Television, the original broadcast date, July 21st, 2023. And I'm waiting for people to say hi in the chat room. It's unusually quiet to be the beginning of the show. Our guest tonight is Sandy Johnson. You might remember her as the original Judith Myers from Halloween back in 1978. And
Hi, guys.
And I'll put it this way. Me and Sandy are just going to sit here and talk about the late 70s and early 80s for the entire show. How's that sound, Sandy?
Sounds good.
Everybody, my co-host tonight is the lovely and talented Chad Harlan. Chad, welcome
Howdy,
back.
Good to see you. I will not be participating in that conversation, but I'll be interested to hear.
He was a twinkle in his daddy's eye. Anyway,
I was 3.
Anyway, everybody, we do have a couple of announcements at the bottom of the hour, and then the usual horse shit that we go through on this show. So, Sandy, first of all, I'm going to ask you the question that I know by looking at some of your YouTube interviews you've been asked like a bazillion times, but I want to know what it is like to be a part of something that the movie that launched a legend. I don't even know how to word it, to be a part of something that's ingrained so much into the viewing public psyche.
Oh, wow. It is, amazing is hardly describes it. Just being, I just feel so lucky. I guess lucky is one of the things I feel that I am one of the few people really that can, call it, that I'm part of it really. So it's a huge honor. It's also really fun to be a part of it. It gives me lots of opportunities to go out and meet fans and everything. It's just amazing. I'm so happy that I got the role way back when, and that the fans around the world love it, and that, I'm just so honored that I get to be Judith Myers.
It's no big secret. You caused, when we announced you, it caused enough of a buzz to catch my eye. And now, I'm going to be perfectly blunt with you. So I said, okay, I'm not going to miss what she did. So I went back and I watched your 45 seconds. And it's only a joke on this show because one of our regular guests is Felissa Rose. And if you go on her IMDb, she will have 100 movies on there, and you go and you watch 2 hours worth of really bad, I almost used an expletive, bad horror movie to find out she was in it 45 seconds. At least your IMDb was upfront about it. But everybody, basically, yeah, she gets bumped pretty quickly. But now, okay. Typical question. Now, on your IMDb, you apparently you were in a time machine for more than one reason. You still look just absolutely stunning. But you jumped from 1979 until now. And everybody, this woman's got like 6 projects in pre-production. What you been doing, Sandy?
Wow. Well, I started, 5 years ago with my first convention, which was Halloween 40. And I loved it so much that I asked my agent to book me as many places as I can, because I just look forward to every one. The fans just rock. And so, yeah, um, so that was where I started. And then the fans started saying, well, why don't you make some movies again? It's been a long time. And I thought, well, yeah, I'm retired from teaching. I guess I could do that. I'm still kicking. So, um, yeah, I just put it out there that I would be interested in acting again. I started getting some coaching just to, kind of refresh everything. And so, yeah, I've got some exciting projects that I hope we can do before too long. I am shooting one of them in October in Florida. And that's the only one right now that I know for sure when it's going to shoot. But yeah, I'm excited for the projects. I have some good parts, and I don't actually get killed, which is nice.
Oh, you can't go through 6 horror movies and not get killed. That's impossible. Now I do have one follow up. It even popped up in the chat room. What you teach?
I taught science to special needs children.
So it's like us.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay,
I also taught college. I did both. I taught middle school for a long time, special needs, both, all kinds of special needs, very, very, very bright kids that just learn differently, just some that just needed hands-on, not reading stuff. So a whole gambit of different types of students. And then I also taught college for a while.
Now, what'd you actually teach in college? Also science?
In college, I taught environmental science to new teachers that were in the master's program for education.
Everybody, by the end of the show, she's going to say something I'm going to Google. I can just tell. Chad, over to you.
Well, you kind of already addressed my first question, as I noticed that you in the interim between acting had gotten a master's and a PhD, and I was going to talk to you a little about that, but education, it sounds like.
Yes, actually online instructional design. So I was designing the PhD. I was designing courses for the internet to be taught online. Before that, it was science education. Yes.
Wow. And certainly your experience with middle school will prepare you to interact with most of the folks at Scarefest. So you're going to be right in the right time frame there. Right. Let's go back a little bit and talk about, certainly you're in one of the most iconic roles in horror history. And you launched the franchise as one of the earliest kills in Halloween, and certainly referenced throughout the entire run of that series. How did you end up in acting? Was that something you had planned? Was that something that just occurred? Kind of walk us through, your kind of background and how you ended up in the Halloween movie.
All right. I started in middle school in drama and dance production. I originally wanted to be a dancer. And then along the way, I got interested in acting. So I kind of switched over to that in college. I started going to workshops in the studios, improv groups and stuff. And then when I ended up doing Playboy, I started getting a lot more calls for acting. And one of those calls was for Halloween.
So you actually were contacted. You didn't audition, or did you go through an audition process as well?
I did audition, yes. They reached out to the Playboy agency and asked for me to come in for an interview, which I did. I was actually interviewed when they were filming in the other part of the house. So they were filming Halloween in the back of the house and interviewing me in the front of the house.
Were you there on the set for a lot of it, or was it a relatively short call?
I was, during the interview was probably 30 minutes or so, and then I left. And then the day that we shot was actually one day of shooting.
Okay. And I know during that time frame, you were in several movies, 78, 79. Did Halloween lead to those, or were they kind of in production around the same time?
Yeah, they were kind of in production around the same time. So I wouldn't say it really led to them, but they might have a little bit led to Halloween. Um, but they were kind of in a time span there of about 3 or 4 years.
Um, Certainly, Halloween was an iconic role. The other roles you had, most people we talk to are heavily invested in the genre. Most of your
Yeah.
other roles are kind of outside of horror. Was there one that appealed to you and drew you in more so than the others, or was it really any role at that point, or were you hoping for more horror, less horror?
My first ones were actually comedies. So I did Gas Pump Girls, which I actually like uh, Gas Pump Girls and Hots. I like both of those films. I had a blast doing them. I had good roles in them. I liked the other ladies that I worked with. So yeah, they were both good roles, just the kind of films that we're not allowed to make anymore because they're not politically correct. But we had a blast doing them, and I do have some fans that have definitely seen Gas Pump Girls and some Hots too, and have enjoyed them.
Can you give us a little synopsis of your roles in those? I know I had gone and tried to do a little research on them. I wasn't able to find them, but I know some of the listeners out there will be interested in hearing about your roles in those, and maybe spend a little more time being able to find those in the future. If you can give them a little bit of a preview of what you did in those movies.
Okay, Gas Pump Girls, I believe you can still rent it on Amazon. It in that one, I play a friend of a girl who is trying to help out her sick uncle's gas station. He's very sick. She wants to keep it in business, so she decides to bring her friends in to dress sexy and pump the gas and keep the drivers entertained. Because right across the street is a brand new, modern, fancy gas station that just opened up, and they're getting all the business. So I'm one of her friends that comes in, and we all have a good time trying to entice the cars back from the big fancy gas station back to the little, simple gas station in order to save her uncle's business. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I do have a good part in it. So we go through a number of different things of trying to save the gas station. We find out that Saudi Arabia is actually in cahoots with this other gas station and depriving her uncle of gas. So we dress up in sexy little chicy outfits, and go
Very
to
timely for the late 70s.
Yeah, we go to their headquarters and to work we kind of con our way in and shame them for doing this to her uncle. So it's a campy, but it's fun. And the other one, Hots, I am a sorority girl, and I am one of the not so nice, kind of snooty girls in the pie group. And then the other girls are the ones that were maybe a little overweight or didn't have quite as much money. And so they have their own sorority. And we, of course, are very snooty and not nice at all to them. So the whole thing is kind of the conflict of us going back and forth and playing tricks on each other and stuff. So it's fun too. I actually enjoyed that one as well.
Mean Girls before Mean Girls existed.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, I was a mean girl.
We're up to our first break, so I'm going to go ahead and toss over to that, and we'll be right back in a moment.
Horror. Movies. Fans. life. On Facebook, find us. For watch parties, for news, for memes, for friends, for life. Horror movie fans for life. Join us.
And welcome back, everybody, to Scarefest TV. Sandy Johnson from Halloween, although we've talked about pretty much everything that's Halloween, which is actually what we're kind of famous for. Now, from the chat room, though, I forget exactly how you worded it, but when was the last time you've been to the Myers house, which is apparently now an office in Pasadena? When was the last time you were there?
I have not actually been to the original Myers house since I shot the film. I have been to the duplicate house in North Carolina, which was awesome. But when I was in Pasadena last time, it was H40. And oh my gosh, I was so busy. I didn't get a chance to go anywhere except stay at the convention center.
Now, okay. Now we're back to small talk. You said I think it was your PhD was in basically teaching people how to train people online. Is that the way you described it?
My PhD was actually how to write the courses.
Okay.
The courses that would be put up, and then the students would come and take those courses.
What is this might be a trade secret, I don't know. What is the secret to getting people to understand stuff when you put it online? Okay.
Well, mine was pretty much like it was how I taught, which was all hands-on. So even in my online classes, I set them up so that there would be a lot of interaction between the students, and they would do a lot of projects and go out with the kids. They were written for the teachers, how they would interact with their students. So I was basically teaching them how to go out and be active with the students, to take them out and, let them watch the clouds and collect rainwater and test it and just get them outside a lot of the times. So that's pretty much how I did it. I just gave them a lot of ideas and a lot of different links to things where they could go get those things and use them with the kids so that they could make it their own, but they still had a lot of guidelines.
Okay. The reason I ask that, there is I'm trying to put this politically correct. It is a constant struggle for like a convention like us to get the news out in such a way that people on the internet who have an attention span like that long to understand. We run into it every year, and now, and this is something I've been saying. Do you remember America Online?
Yes, AOL.
Were you ever a part of that? Were you on America Online?
I was.
Okay, then do you remember how everybody thought America Online was where the internet stopped? They were just...
Right. Yeah, that's all they knew.
Yeah, and that's what Facebook is becoming, and it just bothers the hell out of me because formerly by trade, I was a web designer, and this is... okay, here. Everybody, Facebook is the AI to what I do. In other words, it's... There, I'm going on strike too. Now I did want, some of your projects coming up, and I realized some of them were like the early stages. This one caught my eye, although I love the name of the one, Bury the Hatchet. That That name fucking rocks. I don't care what it is. I've got to see that. What is the concept behind Bury the Hatchet? Do you know the concept behind it?
I do. It is about a very religious family, and the father goes off to war, and when he comes back, he is not the same, and he is very much into survival stuff and killing the animals for food and all of that. His young son is an animal lover, so he is really traumatized by having to go out and kill animals and all this stuff. And then his friends at nursery school or whatever are very mean to him, bully him because he's different and stuff. And so anyway, he ends up being a murderer. And his family is very religious, so they don't want anybody to know. So they kind of take him and set him free a long way away in the woods.
Okay, I'm making the leap of faith
hatchet.
here that his name is Barry.
Yeah, and he gets the hatchet. Yes, that's what they leave him with.
Now, the other one I wanted to ask you about, because this is the kind of stupid ass thing that catches my eye. It's called The Lost Ship. You, however, play the biker girl. And so I was trying to figure out how many bikes are normally on a ship. It hit me as funny. And actually after meeting, and the part about, you being, well, my age, you don't strike me as biker girl type.
I don't know. Maybe they got that from my hippie days. I'm not sure.
But that's what they basically, when they approached you about doing the part, they said, would you be interested in playing biker girl?
Yes.
And how far along is that in the pipe?
Well, I'm sorry I can't remember his name. It's shameful, but the guy that was going to play the lead is actually a very famous actor, and he recently died unexpectedly.
Oh.
Like within the last 6 weeks or so. So it's on hold now until they, find somebody else to play the role and all that. So we were supposed to shoot in September, but I don't think that's going to happen now till they regroup.
One last question. Okay, 5 years roughly, you said you've been doing the con circuit?
Yeah, 5 years this September, I think, or October. Whenever age 45 is, that'll be 5 years.
How many Playboy magazines have you autographed?
Oh.
I don't mean exactly. I mean hundreds, thousands.
Maybe. No. Maybe 50.
Huh.
Yeah. I have to charge a lot more for them because I have a Playboy agent. And because they like to keep the value high on them,
well,
I have to
fair
charge
enough.
quite a bit. Yeah. So not everybody can afford that, because it's like $95 or something to get it signed instead of the normal 35 or 40.
Yeah, but if somebody my age kept your Playboy, I'm just saying, they can afford it. Don't worry about them.
Yeah, I know. And I have signed, quite a few of them for sure.
Chad,
but not hundreds of thousands.
Well, on that same topic, how did you end up being associated with Playboy?
Well, it was kind of unexpected on my path. My dad got very, very sick. He got cancer and was not doing well. And there was a treatment in Mexico called Leotrel. It was actually made from apricot pits. And they were supposedly having some good luck with it. You could not get it in the U.S. So I wanted to make money to help get my dad down to Mexico so we could try it. So a friend of mine said, well, why don't you apply to Playboy? Because compared to other gigs, I mean, they paid well for sure. So I said, okay. So they, wanted me to take pictures and stuff. I sent all that to them. And then they called me in for an interview and they said, yeah, we do want you to be a centerfold. And so I mean, that's basically how it happened. I was really after the money to help my dad more so than just, doing a nude photograph thing. So, however, it turned out to be a lot of fun. I got a lot of traveling out of it and some jobs and different things. So it actually turned out to be a good thing for me.
So, two things on that. One is you just explained a lot. My dad is currently, unfortunately, fighting cancer, and one of his relatives sent him some apricot pits as that would as a possible holistic treatment. So you just tied the bow together on why that was. We didn't understand why she was sending that to him, but
Yeah,
he's doing well. So
it didn't work with my dad. It didn't help.
yeah. So, but that explains a lot. But as part of your association with Playboy, did you visit the mansion? Were you involved in that sort of stuff? And the reason I'm kind of tying that in is we also deal with a lot of paranormal discussions here, and I've heard lots of stories about the mansion being haunted. So I'm just wondering if you spend any time there or had any experiences.
I did spend a lot of time there. I was pretty much on the guest list. I could go any time I wanted, really. I just drove up to the gate and said, hey, can I come in? So that was fun. I did not have any strange experiences there. I loved going there. They had a zoo and, wonderful place to swim, and you could pretty much get anything you wanted to eat. But no, I didn't have any unusual occurrences while I was there.
And you mentioned you still have an agent with that. So and for people here who don't know, including me, is once you become associated with that, with the Playboy system, does that an ongoing thing, and has it led to other interactions and opportunities throughout your life?
Well, this agent really is just for my signings of Playboy products. So he has connections with people all over the world that are collectors. So he actually finds things, send them to me. I sign them, send them back, and then he finds the buyers basically. So that's what he does. It doesn't it's nothing beyond that.
Okay. And it sounds like you said you spent some time at the mansion and stuff, so your experience was positive. It sounds like that you enjoyed your interactions there.
Yes, I did. It was a lot of fun. There was always stuff going on, and volleyball games, swim parties. I mean, I could take my girlfriends up there with me so we could have a really good time, and I'd have to spend a bunch of money.
And you kind of talked about this a little bit, but let's kind of revisit a little bit. How did you get back into the convention circuit?
I was actually playing a game on my phone, Words with Friends, and I got a text that said, "Is this the Sandy Johnson that was in Halloween?" And I just thought, wow, that's a random thing. I hadn't really thought about it in 40 years. So I responded with, yes, it is. And who's asking? And it turned out to be my now agent, Rick Enrique. He has hundreds of people, but he had been looking for me for about 8 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he had finally tracked me down. I guess he had contacted every Sandy Johnson in the United States, I think. But yeah, so that's what happened. He got a hold of me, asked me if I'd be interested. I'd never even heard of a horror convention or a signing convention, so he had to educate me. But I'm glad he did because he's awesome and I've had the best time.
Well, we're glad he found you too, because we're very much looking forward to seeing you in October here in Kentucky. So,
Yeah,
but we've
I'm
come
looking
up
forward
on
to it.
we've come up on our next break. I'm going to go ahead and toss over to that, and we'll be right back with Sandy Johnson.
Okay, everybody. Holiday Glass Studio, Wicked Stained Glass. They are at holidayglassstudio.com. There's 2 L's in that. Don't mess it up. Just like it says on the banner. holidayglassstudio.com. Okay. you don't automatically think horror and stained glass. Go to the website. You will be amazed. You'll be surprised. They do go together. Right on the front page, the Michael Myers stained glass. They got Nosferatu, Angel of Darkness, Pyramid Head from Silent Hill. It's just amazing little collectible things here. I don't even know what all you can do with it. I guess, hey, heck of a Christmas tree ornament. Just saying. Not the weirdest thing on our tree either. So just gonna put that out there for you. But really, creative stained glass for any vision. Check them out online. Holiday Stained Glass Studio, and of course, they are a sponsoring vendor at Scarefest 2023. Now for tonight's celebrity announcement. Dun, 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 dun. Warner Shook, i.e. Creepshow, Dawn of the Dead, Night Riders. But of course, coming in, Creepshow is the one we're pointing at biggest. But actually, okay, well, Tales from the Dark Side. Monsters, okay, he's done stuff. But anyway, so Taylor Shook is one of our announcements. Now the other one, I want to say this is the least surprising announcement I've ever made. Dave Tango, because we already announced Steve. But Dave Tango from Ghost Hunters and that lovely little show, Ghost Hunter Academy. And Ghost Nation. Why isn't that on his IMDb? I almost forgot it. It's on his banner, though. Ghost Hunters, Ghost Nation, Ghost Hunters Academy. Dave Tango, yes, he will be there at Scarefest 2023. Central Kentucky Mystical Market coming up next weekend, July 29th and 30th. July 29th and 30th at the Clarion Hotel on Newtown Pike, Lexington. Get off the interstate. It's just like right there. We're in the Haddock Ballroom, which is right behind the swimming pool, behind the bar. Go to the left. Go in the lobby, turn left. Can't miss it. We'll have signs up. The Scarefest Horror Film Festival. Still taking submissions. Thank you very much. I don't know where Brandon gets it. We don't have as many as last year. I think we're right there. Same number we would have had this time last year. But we do. We're getting them judged. I've been watching. I've been cracking the whip and all that stuff. But there is still time to get a submission in. If you're an independent filmmaker and you want to get in the film festival, there's still a chance. Then my own little plug here. My sleepaway camp cosplay is still, it might happen. I'm at 22. If 100 people join my Patreon project, I will do that guy's cosplay at Scarefest 2023. I've already got the shirt. Haven't cut it off yet. But I got to find my ball glove. Other than that, we're pretty well good to go. And if I happen to get 150, I will do that cosplay with a tramp stamp. So there. And yes, it's temporary. No, I'm not getting a permanent one. Patreon.com/ScarefestRadio. Patreon.com/ScarefestRadio. But it's my recovery blog. I had a heart event. I had a heart attack back in March of this year. And it's all about my recovery and the craziness that goes along with that. And what I'm doing now to just totally be the opposite person that I used to be, except for the terrible attitude I have towards people. And along those lines, if you don't want to be a part of me, help St. Jude's Hospital. What's that girl's name that does the sad song on the puppy commercials? Sarah McLachlan. Play that music. I wish I had that, but we can't afford it. 50 push-ups a day. I am taking the 50 push-ups a day challenge in August. If you go to scarefestradio.com, there's a banner on the front. If you don't know my Facebook page, but if you go to my Facebook page, that's where it's at. But it's for just I don't even know, $5, whatever. But it's not for me. It's for the hospital. All I get out of it is a T-shirt. And we lost Chad. So you're going to have to flip around, pull up.
Chad's back. I had to sneeze.
Yeah, but now we have to find the right combination of cameras. There we go.
He shuffled.
Because when you drop off, then all the cameras shuffle. And what I had as guest is now co-host on the board. Anyway, That's why I love doing live TV. Now, by the way, and I do want to give you an update here. Now, I've not had any questions come through, but everybody is now going through their dad's Playboys. Thanks for causing that. So, yeah. One woman is going to apparently dig up her grandfather. I don't know what that was about. But, yeah. So, yeah, everybody's doing that. Oh, and by the way, I just want to say, I think Chad just wanted to hear about the Playboy Mansion because I've heard none of those stories about it being haunted.
Oh.
And it's my show. I usually catch this stuff. Okay. Back to the important stuff that we do. Jokes my father. Now, first of all, I went on Roku, could find none of this. I can't believe if Gas Pump Girls, I don't think they get along with Prime at all. Amazon. I just don't think they even get along with them. But I actually tried to watch and I couldn't find anything. But I do want to hear about jokes my folks never told me. And the reason I want to hear about it, not only about what the movie is, various characters. You didn't apparently just play one part. So tell me about jokes my folks never told me.
All right. It was a film done by two guys called the Woolery Brothers, and they were a series of dirty jokes that at the time seemed to be very racy. Today they would seem very corny, but at the time they were like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that, sort of thing. And I played a character in different jokes. So
Gotcha.
like in one, I was the farmer's daughter, for that kind of joke. And so I played different characters and different jokes.
So in other words, this was the guy that invented TikTok before it was TikTok. It was kind of like that. Yeah, I get it. Little skits. I've got a few ideas of my own. So there. I'm watching the chat room, people. If you got anything you want to ask her. Okay, the other one we haven't talked about, Surfer Girls. Now, I'll just say it. It doesn't sound like a great mental exercise. Tell me about Surfer Girls.
Surfer Girls was a 3D film. And,
okay, that makes it worth the while right there.
Yeah. It was, I don't even know if it ever showed anywhere. I don't talk about it much because I didn't like the way they treated me on set.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I don't talk about it much, but some of it was fun. I had fun, with the girls on the beach and stuff, but I didn't like the way they treated me for some of it. And I don't even know if it ever showed anywhere. I just remember it was a 3D film. And the time that I did see it with them, we wore 3D glasses to watch it.
Old school.
Yes.
Okay, now I'm gonna be old here for you, with you for a moment. What do you miss most about late 70s, early 80s?
I guess just the freedom to say what's on your mind and everybody else to be able to say what's on their mind. And it was okay. I miss that. It was just okay, just to talk. Everybody was just kind of in the same group. Human. The human group.
I agree. See, now well, of course, I shouldn't say I miss the music because it's still playing in elevators everywhere.
Yes, this is...
But yeah, I miss I look back, my favorite thing, and then this, I'm sure every generation does this. I look back and I think, oh my God, we thought we were so cool. And I had a mullet. The 80s hit, I had a beautiful mullet. I mean, it was legendary. What's the most embarrassing thing that looking back on it, you said, why did I do that? Anything?
Yeah, I dyed my hair black. I went from really blonde to just like black.
See, I don't know why that would be embarrassing because like half the people I know do that nowadays. Let's see. Okay, we do have a question. Any drama with your teaching career? Oh, okay, that's a good question. Has your Playboy appearance created any drama in your teaching career?
Well, it very likely could have, but I kept it a secret.
There, and now she's out of it, so she's free and clear, as we say. So it never came up because nobody knew.
No, I have a lot of people that are in my life that don't know, that have never known.
Well, and they're not likely to find out from me because little second-rate podcast here. Chad, over to you.
Nobody asked me, but my favorite part of the early 70s, late 70s, early 80s was nap time. But
You suck, Chad.
Oddly enough, though, still my favorite part about now. So go ahead.
Well, I know. Well, that happens at your age, Wes.
I know.
Sandy and I are still young.
Yeah.
My question is you ended up being, like I said, one of the iconic characters in everybody who's listening to this favorite horror movie. Do you like horror? And if so, what movies have you been attracted to, and what do you enjoy in the horror genre?
Yes, I do like horror movies. My father introduced them to me at a young age. We started with The Blob at a drive-in theater during a hailstorm. So that kind of left an impression.
Makes it memorable.
Yes. Then it was Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, which I think truly scarred me for life. Betty Davis and what was the other one? Anyway, just terrifying movie.
I've seen it, but I can't remember who else was in it.
Yeah, she's Joan Crawford. Joan Crawford,
That's right.
Anyway, that one just left me not well. And then as far as my favorites that I continued on with, I love Psycho, I love The Shining, I like Scream. A lot of the older ones, I think. I like the ones that aren't extremely gory because I like the psychological horror better.
Are there any of those that you wished you would have been in?
Scream would have been pretty cool. Yeah, I liked the mask in Scream, so I think I probably could have been pretty scared being in that movie, just having that mask come at me.
I think they did an excellent job in that series of tying it into the classic horror and bringing it up to date and expanding on it. So,
yep.
Have you found that there's a connection between teaching and working in horror movies?
Teaching and working in horror movies.
God, that was a weird question.
I know.
The only thing I can think is that because I was on the cutting edge of hands-on teaching, there weren't a lot of ready-made things. So I had to do a lot of stuff, play a lot of roles myself, and indie films are kind of like that. You have to play a lot of roles, to get an indie film out there. It's not like you have a whole staff of people, and neither did I.
And I think Wes identified a consulting position for you based on your PhD work in online education to now tie that to horror promotion. So we're coming up on our last break, so I'm going to go ahead and throw over to that, and we'll be right back.
And everybody, Spirit Mechanics, the Spirit Mechanics at spiritmechanics.com, longtime supporter of the show. And of course, as I've been drilling into your heads, they have a brick and mortar place now, 1018 East New Circle Road, Unit 114. in Lexington, 1018 East New Circle Road. The Missing Element Shop, one-stop shop for spirit mechanics, Steve's Healing Vibrations, metaphysical supplies, their books, divination, altar supplies, tarot and tarot decks, and coming soon, my own meditation candle. Just saying, it's a thing now. Because I'm convinced they will do this. And if you want to know, it's going to be my picture, and underneath it, for meditation, it will say, "Calm the fuck down." So that's something they are working on. But yeah, got classes on metaphysics, paranormal investigations, anything like that. Talk to Spirit Mechanics, spiritmechanics.com, and also check out Steven's Healing Vibrations. Steven, he does vibrational sound healing. Uses tuning forks, singing bowls, and I'll tell you, I tried it once and I was impressed. So check them out online, spiritmechanics.com, and visit them in the real world. So go back to everybody just like you got it pulled up there, and we got a few minutes left in the show. Oh, by the way, I miss drive-ins. You brought that up. I think that's probably the one thing I miss the most. And we've got one like 30 minutes from here. But the last time I went, because it's the only drive-in left, Sandy, there's like 1,000 cars. You know, and what are you pointing at?
You have questions.
Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. Now, Chad, this is kind of a follow-up on Chad's last question. If you could choose, what is your favorite genre of movie? We know you like horror movies, fair enough. But if you could embrace one genre, what is your favorite to be a part of?
Crime dramas.
Not on your resume, just saying.
Connected. Serial killer is still a crime.
Yes.
I still don't know how Biker Girl got on the lost ship. I still haven't figured that out. What in the? I don't even know what that comment was about. So anyway, what do you got going on in the meantime? Okay, Scarefest is October. Anything you want to plug while we're sitting here?
Well, obviously, I'm very excited to be doing that one. I've been hoping for a couple years now, so I'm glad I got invited. I'm also going to Germany for Weekend of Hell, and then I'm going to Canada, and I'm going to LA for the 45 Halloween 45. I'm going to Spookala in Tampa. So I've got a busy year coming up.
I did find out, okay, the thing that threw me, somebody in the chat room said it smells like bourbon, tobacco, and Bengay, and they were talking about my prayer candle. So, I got that. Let's see. What else we got here? Let's see. Jump in anytime, Chad. I'm out of questions now.
Tell us about some of the other movies you got coming up. We've touched on a couple of them, but you've got quite the resume standing out there of pre-production and
Which
and
one
current
did you?
production.
Main thing you said, one of them should be almost finished, right?
One actually is finished. It's called Paradolia. It is a UK film, and I do a voiceover as a late night DJ.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's a very cool film. I'm looking forward to that one being out. It'll be hitting the film festivals here before too long. I did another one called Vulps, The Lust for Revenge, which was a Hungarian film. And it was during COVID, so it was done over the internet. But I am a mother having a video chat with my son, who is, unbeknownst to me, he is an animal abuser, and he is about to be the victim of someone who doesn't like animal abusers and make sure to torture them nicely before they die. And so the first one was Vulps, the prologue, I think it was called, was very good. I liked it a lot, and I actually reviewed it for them, and then that's when they decided to use me in the second one. So anyway, I'm definitely looking forward to that one coming out, but it is complete. And then I will be doing one called The Executioner. That was the one in Florida. And I am a psychiatrist, and I have a very sick child that I'm trying to help. Let's just leave it with that. Let's see. Then I'm trying to think if there's any others I can talk about. Not really. I don't think I can talk about the others, but I'm very excited for those. I'd also like to plug my website, if that's okay. It is unicornsandyj.com. And I have some things I've actually created and made that I put on there recently. I took a hairbrush and I splatter it with blood, and then I autograph it. And they can also get a picture with me brushing my hair with it. And I felt like Judith needed a collectible of her very own. Instead of just, I sign a lot of stuff that's Halloween, but I wanted a collectible that was Judith. So that's why I did that one. I also take a young Michael mask and blood splatter it and sign it. So again, that one's more related to me than some of the other things. Both of those are on my website, as well as the Halloween 78 knife. Again, I splatter it and autograph it. They can also send in photos for autographs, posters, anything they want. Almost all of my podcasts are listed up there, so if they just want to binge watch, there's a bunch of them. Let's see. Yeah, tons of photographs, custom photographs. They can actually order any photo that I've ever posted on Facebook or Instagram, and I can have a print, made for them. So that's that. And then, of course, I'm on Facebook and Instagram. On Facebook, it's The Real Sandy Johnson. And on Instagram, again, it's Unicorn Sandy J. And it's not that I love unicorns particularly, but my agent nicknamed me his unicorn because I was the magical, mythical creature he thought he'd never find. And I thought that was so adorable that I just had to steal it.
Well, I think you need to be resting your hand, because I'm pretty sure you're going to have quite the line at Scarefest this year. It's created a buzz when you were announced.
Cool. I'm so happy. Really, I'm excited. And I love Kentucky. It's so beautiful.
I like your reason for having unicorn. I actually thought Unicorn Sandy J. I was thinking that's her DJ name. That's totally her DJ name. Late night DJ. I do want to go back on that. Okay, what type of late night DJ? You play music? One of those sexy voice critters?
Yes, that's it. It is. My name, I believe, is Mickey Myers.
Do the voice. Say Scarefest TV in the voice.
Scarefest TV.
Oh my God, that was great. Incidentally, in the chat room, I'm going to answer a question. Someone asked me, I'm talking to a Playboy model. Why do I not have questions? Because where I had the reason is I was accused of being inappropriate with Catherine Corcoran. And I thought I was a perfect gentleman because she was so much younger than me. So now I have to, I'm more conscious about things like that because this is the new me, people.
Well, I'm a little hard to ruffle.
Everybody is. Everybody comes on here. And she didn't make the accusation. I want to be very clear about that. It was somebody else said, I watched the episode, and this was like 2-3 years later. And they said, I thought he was kind of inappropriate. And the only thing I said was I felt bad watching her first movie because I felt creepy. That's all I said.
Oh.
Well, I mean, you are creepy.
Well, I am creepy, but not in that way. Now, see, like, I Googled her, and the image search was the most fun I've had ever. Everybody, this has been Scarefest TV. We're pretty much at the end of the episode. It's been a lot of fun, Sandy, and I'm looking I'm looking forward to meeting you in person. And
Scott just threw a question.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to ask it exactly the way, because I didn't know how any of this worked. Sandy Johnson, what was the beginning scene like for you in Halloween, especially having Deborah Hill stabbing you?
It was actually very creepy because it was a real house, not a studio. So it was actually quite dark and quiet up there. And I could hear them coming up the stairs and getting closer and closer. So yeah, compared to a lot of situations where you would be filming something like that, yeah, it was very scary and creepy because I just kept thinking, oh my God, they're coming to kill me.
and I guess they were holding the camera behind that mask, so they could have, nothing else, they could have fell on you. Anyway, so I just want to put that out there. Everybody, this has been Scarefest TV. This has been one of the most fun episodes I've had for a long time, Sandy, and can't wait. Like I said, I'm just going to gush all over you again. Everybody, we'll be back next week. Melanie Kinman next week on Scarefest TV.
Thank you for having me.